Hi guys, Kirsty, very grateful, recovered alcoholic. Thank you so much for inviting me, Alika. Thank you for all your service, Bray, and everyone else that's done service on the meeting. And thank you. So nice to see so many friendly, familiar faces, and so nice to see new faces. I breathe now. I'll start by saying I'm really nervous, and it's when you hear that recording in progress, and that makes me go, oh gosh. But let me just bring God with me. Thank you so much for being here today. Well done everyone on the sober time as well. Amazing, amazing. Lots of birthdays, and that's what we get here, a life worth celebrating. The days mean so much today, whereas my days used to mean nothing. So when I first got to AA, I didn't think I was an alcoholic. In fact, I was damn sure that I wasn't. Like, convinced I am not an alcoholic. I spent my whole life trying to drink like a normal person. Like, how do normal people drink? I don't know, because I never was able to achieve it. But the disease of alcoholism comes out, and my drinking took me to other places, which I won't go into tonight because we're in an AA meeting. But I was so convinced that I didn't have a problem with drink. But I'd never drank and not blacked out. I'd never drank and it not caused me a problem. I had my stomach pumped for the first time when I was at high school. I used to sneak bottles of vodka in my Coke bottle in my school bag. I lost my first job through drink. Like, I never knew what an alcoholic was. I was so adamant I wasn't an alcoholic because my head told me an alcoholic was very differently to how my drinking was, because my drinking was normal. In my deluded head, my drinking was absolutely normal. I couldn't see. Like, I knew I had a problem with other things in my life, and I knew I was killing myself, but I thought I was okay with drink, because they sell it in the shops and it's legal, and I can drink like this normal idea of drinking. And I got taken to this page in the big book, 44. If when you honestly want to, you cannot quit entirely. And I'd got to the point where I honestly wanted to. And it might not have been for the same reasons that other alcoholics, we're all different. We all have different stories. I so wanted to, because it kept taking me back to another thing that I thought was killing me when I was in this delusion that the drink wasn't a problem. But I really honestly wanted to stop drinking now because I was done with everything, but I couldn't. I'd always go back to the drink. The thing that I didn't have a problem with, the thing, if I didn't have a problem with drink, quitting would have been really easy, wouldn't it? But I was convinced that I didn't. I truly believed that. But when I honestly wanted to stop drinking, I could not. I could not. My sober head would always tell me, you can just have one glass of wine with your tea. You've not got a problem with drink. But it never, ever ended like that. 3-4 bottles later, passed out, sick, on to the next thing. I could never just have one glass of wine like I so desperately wanted to. Or if when drinking you have little control over the amount you take, you are probably alcoholic. So I actually qualified for both of them, because once I started, I could not stop. It's like a new woman came out, like possessed. I'd always just be having one or two, or just a civilized drink, just a Baileys on Christmas Eve. But once that one drink passed my lips, it's like something in my body took over, and I just wanted more and more and more. And I just thought I chose to drink more and more, and then thought next time I won't, next time I'll just have one. But today, thank you to this lovely book and such amazing sponsorship and guidance on the runes of AA. I know that I had a craving beyond my mental control. I know now that I suffer from an allergy, that I can never drink safely. And I know that because of you lovely people in AA, and because of this book, and because all those alcoholics have this, this thing that nobody else has. So whenever I put one drink in, that's always going to happen. It always has. It's always been my experience. Even when I think back to when I started drinking at 13, that was always my experience. But because that was always my experience, that was normal. I'd always drink to blackout. I'd always drink too much. There was never, I couldn't stop. And I introduced myself at the beginning, recovered alcoholic. So that I'll never recover from. If I ever have one drink. If my mind ever tricks me like that again, if I ever get a mental blank spot again and have that one, then I can never safely drink again. I'm always going to set that back off. But what I've recovered from today is that hopeless state of mind that convinces me that next time is going to be different, that tells me in my own voice that I can drink like a civilized person, like a norm, you know, like my mum, who has a glass of wine and puts like it on the side and watches it, you know, and I'm like, oh, that just pains me watching her. But I can never do that. But I've recovered from that today. Today I have a defense. In my step one, I learned I am gonna drink again because I have a disease where I cannot bring back with my sufficient force the memory of the humiliation, the pain, the not taking my kids to school, the missing Christmas. You know, I can't remember that when I have this mental black spot, and that can be on a good day, a bad day, you know, whatever. That I have no control over when that mental blank spot is, when that thought's going to come, just as much as I have no control over picking that drink up without spiritual help. And I love a few pages before page 44, which helped me qualify that I was an alcoholic. This bit in the book really interests me. Whether such a person, meaning the alcoholic person, can quit upon a non-spiritual basis depends upon the extent to which she has already lost the powers to choose whether she will drink or not. Like, because I spent a bit of time coming to meetings and meeting loads of new friends, and trying so hard not to pick up that drink, and it never worked, and I didn't understand why. And I saw some people, that could do that, which is great, but whether such a person, I'd lost that power of choice. I was already drinking when I honestly wanted to not. When I started, I could not control the amount I took. If that is the case, then I can only be cured by a spiritual experience. And thank God that's what I got here in AA. And, I start by saying, welcome to the Person at 11 Days. Like, amazing, 11 days, well done. Don't do what I did when I first got here. My experience, my first few months was painful, in and out of the rooms, meeting people. I don't even call it relapse now because I never had recovery. I thought AA was coming to meetings, but AA is so much more. We have a book. I don't know whether you've got the book yet. But, if you've not get the book, if you've got it, open it, read it. Like, my book is like falling apart. I was 18 months last week. My book looks like it's about 18 years old. Like, it's literally so dirty. It's actually got sellotape on it and everything. But this book is like my book of magic. But just reading the book's not going to get me well. Learning about alcoholism, I learned that I've got a mind that lies to me, that I've got a body when I put it in, I cannot stop. And I learned that I've got this horrible hole in the soul, which I learned from bitter experience, that painful, irritable, restless discontent, never being happy with whatever you got, whatever you thought you wanted, like a total disconnect from the world. Which today I understand I was just so disconnected from this power, from awareness, from consciousness, from being awake, from God, spirit of the universe, whatever anyone's name wants to be for it. That place where when I didn't drink, I wanted to die. When I did drink, I wanted to die. That spiritual malady part got like progressively worse for me. Like, the times in between not drinking weren't that bad, when I was 13, 14, when I was even in my 20s, when I was in my 30s, that time in between not drinking, that spiritual malady got so progressive, just like the drinking did. And I could not, I think in the doctor's opinion, it was it. Men and women drink essentially because they like the effect produced by alcohol. Like, that effect's being that it just made me okay, that it just made me be able to breathe, that it just made me feel like I could be a part of life, like without that. And I believe that was my spiritual malady, which I knew nothing about, thank God for AA telling me this. Like, I was like the least spiritual person. I didn't even know what spiritual meant, but none of that matters. I can learn all that in this book, and this book's going to enable me. So I've lost track of what I'm saying. So this book's going to enable me to build a relationship with God, which terrified me. I was like, whoa, that's what we're doing here. Like, I've not come here to find God. I've come here to stop drinking. But how wrong was I? Like, building a relationship with God has been like the best thing in my life for the last 18 months, still is the best thing in my life, and still is a work in progress. I know very little, and that's amazing. And I could never say that before. I knew everything. Or at least my head told me I did. But it turns out I knew nothing. But it's so good to know nothing here. We've got to be learning, got to be growing. And I got a sponsor, and I had the willingness, like that gift of desperation, that place of wanting to die with or without a drink. In my experiences, that gives me enough willingness. That gives me enough willingness to open my mind up and to be honest. And that's all I need. I think the book tells us on page, I'm not so good with my page numbers, I think it's 567, 568. Willingness, open-minded, and honesty are the only three things I need. And they're indispensable. It means I absolutely have to have them. Like, no one can give me them. My sponsor can't give them me. You know, people in the meetings can't give them me. I have to have them. I believe my drinking gives me that. My desperation gives me them three things. And that's literally all I had to start. And today I have a beautiful relationship with a power that I choose to call God, that I don't know what is and don't know how it works. All I know is I live my life by spiritual principles, and my life has been amazing since. And that doesn't mean my life's amazing and like everything goes hunky-dory. Like, far from that. The way I react to life is so different. Like, the steps is so much more like giving up drinking. Yeah, like, I'm sorry, I don't know why I've got these in my hand. I give up drinking. Like, I don't, thank God, I don't have thoughts to drink today. Like, thank God. I don't have an obsession to drink today, thank God. But I still have hard days, still have life show up. And what this program gives me, like, I kind of sometimes forget about the drinking, because like that got removed and then life has just got great, you know. But I couldn't live life without this program. So when other life things come at me, thank God I have this program to live by. And my honesty, willingness, and open-mindedness was the tiny little seed that I had to start the best relationship in my life. And that's all that was needed. And a sponsor to guide me through that was like key. I still have a sponsor today, and a sponsor. And if you're new and you're thinking, gosh, this sounds like a lot, 11 days is amazing. The sooner we launch ourselves into this spiritual program of action, the sooner I get that defense, the sooner God relieves me of the obsession to drink, the sooner we have no time to waste at the beginning. Like, I spent so much time in that painful place of trying to stop drinking. And as I just said, the great news today, like, I don't have to try not to drink. It's given me I can't think how to word it. It's give me the power of choice in a way today. Like, I had no choice whether to pick up a drink or not when I got here. I have a choice when I wake my eyes each morning now. I choose whether to connect to this power that I know how to connect to or not. Like, and I have to, like, my life depends on it. So alcoholism is going to kill me. I know I'm going to die. The doctors have told me I'm going to die. I've been to rehab, treatment, detox. Like, so it's like God or die. This was the question that I was at, God or die. And I see that today the same as I did the day I crawled up the steps on my detox. Like, God or die. I still need that same willingness, open-minded and honesty today as I did when I was that desperate, in that desperate place of fearing death. And obviously I'm still going to die, we're all going to die, but I don't fear that today, because I know today all I have to do is stay on my path, help others, clean house, and it's not my choice what happens in my life, and I just go with it. And my step 3 every morning, God relieve me of the bondage of self, because without drinking and with being sober, I can still be really sick. I can still wake up with that alcoholism all over me and start thinking, I know what I need in my life, or I know what I want to make me feel okay. You know, if everyone just does as I say, or just as how I expect life to be. So I have to ask God each day, relieve me of that bondage of self, because what I know, what I've always thought I've known, is very rarely right. I don't know what the right things are. I have to connect to this power to not feel that uncomfortableness of that discontent and restlessness. And today I have to live by that steps 10, 11 and 12. Like, I'm trying to think where I'm going with this. I don't know where I'm going. I'm trying to think how's been most helpful in what I'm saying. And right now in my journey, like steps 10, 11 and 12 are just my life, because they absolutely have to be. Like, if I was dying of cancer and someone said to me, you've got to take 3 pills each day to stay alive and not die. And if you miss one, then you could die. Like, I'm never ever going to miss that pill. I'm going to take it like my life depends on it. And that's my steps 10, 11 and 12. They're going to stop me dying. And in step 10, I watch all day, which I find so amazing now. When I watch, like anyone that's new, or, you know, anyone, wherever you are on your journey, if when you really sit and watch your thoughts, and it's like, wow, that's what my mind wants to tell me. That's my ego. That's my person that I don't listen to anymore. Separating my awareness from them crazy thoughts was like, I sit and watch for selfishness, for dishonesty, for resentment, for fear, for anger. And what do I do when it comes? Because it's gonna come. Like, I'm human still. I have to straight away ask God, like, build that relationship, ask God to remove it from me. Tell another addict, share my crazy thinking. Maybe they can tell me where, if I can't see the truth, and help someone, turn my thoughts to where I can be most helpful. Them amazing step 10 promises I get for my step 10. Like, we are not fighting anyone or anything. I don't know about anyone else. When I first got here, I was fighting everyone and anyone. Like, I was so argumentative, ceased fighting anyone and everything. And I mean, you guys that know me on here, like, me and my kids' dad are both in recovery, and we've been split up many years and been through lots of court cases with the kids and social workers involved, and like literally hated each other. Like, I don't think I'd ever spoken to him for the last 4 years without fighting. Today, like, we spend time together, take the kids out, co-parent. That is an absolute miracle. Like, I pinch myself sometimes. Like, cease fighting anything or everyone. The problem has been removed. Alone at perfect ease and peace. All these, there's so many promises in the book. I think I mixed the step 5 up with step 10 then, but I just love the promises. Happy, joyous and free. Like, every promise in this book, I think to myself, if these promises aren't coming true, then that's because I'm disconnected today, or it's because I'm not aware. It's because I'm feeding into my ego. I'm looking at life from them old eyes again. If this book, I truly believe every single line that's written it. And I think, if these aren't true in my life, what am I doing wrong? Because it's me, it's myself taking back over. And step 11 says to me, like, improve my conscious contact. So these are my pillars that are keeping me alive, 10, 11 and 12, improve my conscious contact. So I can't just do what I did 6 months ago. I can't do what I did yesterday. I need to be improving that conscious contact, waking up more and more, becoming more and more aware. For me, I've done that in so many different ways. Like, I've tried so many different kinds of meditation, different prayer, talking to God on my hands and knees, like meditating in the sea, in nature, helping others. Like, there's so many different ways I can improve that prayer and meditation. And what I've learned in my very short experience of my 18 months, the more I give to God, I need to turn all things in. The more I turn to God, the more I speak to God, the more I let go of what I want or think it should be, and the more I let God in, like, the freer I am, the more simple life is, the more relaxed and we don't struggle I can take it. You know, when I'm struggling, then I know it's me, it's myself. I want something to turn out like this at work, or I want my kid to do this. Like, it always starts with I. If I've got a struggle in my life, as soon as I just go like, God, and I don't know the right thing. And this was something not, I don't know how to word this without sounding. So I used to get told a lot when I first come about, do the next right thing, which is, you know, really good advice, like let's be good people. But this was my problem with it. I didn't know what the next right thing was. Like, my life was a car crash. I couldn't look after my kids. I was dying. Like, I didn't know what the next right thing was. And what I learned from beautiful people in AA was, do the next right thing if it aligns with God. How do I know what aligns with God when I'm so new and I've got this bit of contact that I don't know if it's real, and I don't know whether it's me, and I'm in all this place of fear still, and I'm not knowing because it's the unknown to me. But I just have to check it myself. This is what I did and still do. I still don't know the right thing. I say it like it's a past thing. Like, am I being absolutely honest? Am I being absolutely pure? Is this what I'm going to do? Absolutely unselfish, absolutely loving. Like, them 4 absolutes. I think there was like from the Oxford group, and not in part of our literature today, but them 4 things. Like, I know it's God's will if it's all 4 of them things. If it's like, you know, 3 of them, but it's a bit selfish, or it's 2 of them, but it's a bit of dishonesty, like, that's me, that's myself coming back in. And then I'll make them decisions based on self, based on what I want and what I think will make me feel a certain way. And all of a sudden I'm struggling again. Like, as soon as I let go and make decisions with God, talking to God, and don't just run off in my little Kirsty world, like, life is amazing. And then step 12, my 3rd pill, helping others. I've got a couple of sponsees on here tonight, and I love you guys with all my heart. Like, amazing. Sponsees. Like, that's the magic of this stuff. Like, we pass it on, and then they pass it on, and then they pass it on. And like, none of us tonight would be sat here on this screen if we didn't pass this stuff on. Like, how amazing is it that we've got from when's the book wrote, 1939 till today, like, by one person going through the steps with the other, and then another, and then, like, and there's so many of us today, all these lives saved. Like, step 12 has been, like, and still is, an amazing part of my journey. And I really said best part then, but literally, someone asked me the other day, which in your journey, like, which of the steps did you find like the most difficult? And I had to stop, and I really had to think, and then I was like, none, because my life was hell. Like, the steps have been like, oh, thank you, God. You know, like, it's been amazing. And that doesn't mean there's not been hard bits. That doesn't mean there's not been things that I've done that have made me feel uncomfortable, amends that I've made that made me cringe at the thought. But everything is possible with God. Like, if I work the steps properly and get guided through them properly and connect with God each step of the way, like, none of them, like, how could they be hard that way? Like, it's just been an amazing experience. I can't even tell you how amazing life is today. Like, my life was a car crash today. It's amazing. But back to step 12, and not about me. And back to step 12, amazing part of my journey, which I was so scared of doing. Like, I couldn't get myself sober. How can I get someone else sober? That's what my head told me. Me thinking I was going to get someone sober. But that's not the case at all here. Thank God, because I couldn't get myself sober. All I do is pass on exactly what was passed on to me, guide someone else, be there to listen in confidence. You know, we've got a book of instructions like listed out. And what an amazing experience. What great friends I've made. I think in the book, does it say this is an experience we must not miss? Like, and I think there's a bit in Bill's story that says I must perfect and enlarge my spiritual life to get through the certain trials and low spots ahead, something like that. I might be misquoting, but how better to enlarge my spiritual life than help God's children, than help people that are coming into the rooms dying, like to get close to people, to be there. Like, how better to enlarge my spiritual life? And in that, I keep myself sober. In that experience, I experience my own step one again. I see the pain in their eyes, just like me, like that irritable, restless and discontent, that crawling out of their own skin, and, you know, fear and not knowing what's going on, like that horrible drowning person that we all come in like. I get to experience that again with someone. And then, you know, going through doing someone's step 3 to 9 is just like, and then I go, oh, I need to do this. I need to, like, I can always improve my program when I take someone through, always. Like, that's one of the things I've learned here. Like, here, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay. Like, it's so good to mess up. We get like spiritual tools to put things back right. We're on a path of improving, not to get things perfect, to continuously improve. And what better way to do that than working with others and seeing my own life again, seeing my own journey again. And one experience that's coming to me to share with you is this. It is easy. This is just after them amazing step 10 promises. Sorry, just have a little bit of water, guys. It is easy to let up on the spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels. We are headed for trouble if we do, for alcohol is a subtle foe. We are not cured of alcoholism. What we have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. Every day is a day when we must carry the vision of God's will into all of our activities. How can I best serve thee? Thy will, not mine, be done. These are thoughts which must go with us constantly. We can exercise our willpower along this line all we wish. It is the proper use of the will. And that is the only place in the book that tells me it's easy. It's easy to let up on this spiritual program of action. This spiritual program of action being my steps 10, 11 and 12, being my medicine that's going to stop me dying, like my 3 pills if I had cancer. It's easy to let up on it. I believe that's because I feel so great and life's great and I get things back. I get my kids back and my job back. And, you know, I've never, honestly, in my life felt better. So it would be easy, wouldn't it, for that ego to come back, my mind to come back and everything take over, and easy to not have time. But God's given me this life. AA has given me this life. I think there's a good speaker that says it. What does he say? I can't let my life get in the way of the life AA has given me, or something. I'm not wording it like they do, but you know, it's easy for me to let up. It's easy for me to forget how bad it was. But I am never cured of alcoholism. I've got a daily reprieve. So I've got today. Like, I've got today just like that person, like, you know, that come in day 1, day 2. Like, I've only still got today. Contingent. So, you know, depending on what I do, depending on my spiritual condition, how do I keep in that fit spiritual condition? By working my steps 10, 11 and 12. Like, that's the only way I get today. And I love the wording. I think is so strong in that paragraph. Like, every day is a day we must carry God's vision, like not just on the days I feel bad, or a day when I might feel like I need to every day this has to be my life. I have to abandon myself utterly to this power. There's such strong words in this book. I actually love reading the book. And at one point when I first come in, I'd be like, oh, I want to read that book again. Like, how's this? Like, every line in this book is so true. So true. Thy will, like, God, what do you want me to do today? Like, where are we going? What are we doing? How can I get through the day without God in my life today? When I think, like, how can I actually get through my day without living like this? Like, getting wrapped up in all them things, like on the outside, material things and work. And how could I actually live without doing this? I don't think I could. The power of pause saves my life daily. I must pause when agitated or doubtful or anything other than content. If I'm excited, I must pause, because I think it says in, but less danger of making foolish decisions when in excitement. You know, anything on my self-will can end disastrously. I must pause. God is in that pause. And I'm just looking at my time and thinking, I don't know what else to share with you guys. How much time have I got left? Does anyone?
You have 13 minutes, but you can go with however you feel. If you feel like, yeah, no pressure, sis.
Oh, thank you so much. Sorry, guys. Normally can't shut me up once I start, but today I just feel like I was just coming to a natural end. So I'd like to just thank everyone again. And I have no clue what I've said, so I hope I've made some kind of sense. And I suppose the point I'm making is I come in here an absolute broken mess, like with no hope of like. And I remember sitting in my dad's car on the way to my detox thinking like, well, if this doesn't work, I'll just die. Like, I couldn't look after my kids. I was in court cases and, you know, things were really bad. I couldn't even wash and I didn't want to live. I'd sort of like give up hope. I got a sponsor armed with the absolute facts and I put the action in with willingness, open-mindedness and honesty. That very same willingness, open-mindedness and honesty that I do today. A daily program of spiritual action, and my life has transformed. And that's the promise here, like, not to get sober. I think the book doesn't really go on about not drinking that much. So I'll have a transformation. Going through the steps is an entire psychic change now. I didn't even know what an entire psychic change was, but what it means to me is I was one person and now I'm a totally different person. Now I love life, I love people, I love my kids, I love my family, and I'm just constantly happy. Like before, I hated the world and life was this horrible, big, scary thing that I didn't know how to do. And also I don't have to drink anymore, which is just like the bonus, I suppose. God's like the gold and not drinking is the bonus. But thank you. Welcome to the new people. 11 days, amazing. Get a sponsor, get a big book, get all the way in. Service, steps, unity, friends, you know, everything, all parts. The more I put into my program, the more I put into my recovery, the more amazing I feel. And I'm going to stop there if that's okay. Thank you all for listening to me.
Thank you, Kirsty. Thank you so much for sharing your experience